asked, asked. I asked him to come to the exhibition, but he'd already seen it. I asked him to come to the exhibition, but he'd already seen it. Helped, helped. Money from local businesses helped save the school from closure. Money from local businesses helped save the school from closure. Laughed, laughed. I laughed so hard I almost pulled a muscle. I laughed so hard I almost pulled a muscle. Listened, listened. The doctor listened to his breathing and checked his pulse. The doctor listened to his breathing and checked his pulse. Opened, opened. Julie opened her handbag and took out her purse. Julie opened her handbag and took out her purse. Started, started. He started out on his journey very early in the morning. He started out on his journey very early in the morning. Talked, talked. We talked on the phone for over an hour. We talked on the phone for over an hour. Kissed, kissed. She kissed her baby on the cheek. She kissed her baby on the cheek. Played, played. The children played together in the street. The children played together in the street. Destroyed, destroyed. Part of the building was destroyed in the fire. Part of the building was destroyed in the fire. Wanted, wanted. I wanted a little breathing space between jobs. I wanted a little breathing space between jobs. Visited, visited. When I was on holiday, I visited my uncle. When I was on holiday, I visited my uncle. Missed, missed. She missed the bus and had to walk home. She missed the bus and had to walk home. Worked, worked. He worked as a librarian before switching to journalism. He worked as a librarian before switching to journalism. Failed, failed. She failed to comprehend the seriousness of the situation. She failed to comprehend the seriousness of the situation. Offered, offered. I offered him a drink, but he did not respond. I offered him a drink, but he did not respond. Watched, watched. Millions of people watched the events on live television. Millions of people watched the events on live television. Travelled, travelled. We travelled day and night without stopping. We travelled day and night without stopping. Selected, selected. She selected an apple from the fruit bowl. She selected an apple from the fruit bowl. Waited, waited. We waited in great suspense for the doctor's opinion. We waited in great suspense for the doctor's opinion. Tasted, tasted. The food tasted better than it looked. The food tasted better than it looked. Danced, danced. The boys and girls danced to the disco music. The boys and girls danced to the disco music. Accepted, accepted. It was pouring with rain, so I accepted his offer of a lift. It was pouring with rain, so I accepted his offer of a lift. Behaved, behaved. He behaved like a true gentleman. He behaved like a true gentleman. Loved, loved. I loved that dress you had on last night. I loved that dress you had on last night. Joined, joined. He joined the company as a graduate trainee. He joined the company as a graduate trainee. Needed, needed. The cut in my hand needed 5 stitches. The cut in my hand needed 5 stitches. Fixed, fixed. We fixed the bookcase in the kitchen. We fixed the bookcase in the kitchen. Identified, identified. He identified his baggage among hundreds of others. He identified his baggage among hundreds of others. Shopped, shopped. We shopped all morning for new coats. We shopped all morning for new coats. Painted, painted. They painted the bathroom a yucky green colour. They painted the bathroom a yucky green colour. Ordered, ordered. We ordered another bottle of champagne. We ordered another bottle of champagne. Knocked, knocked. I knocked on the door, but nobody answered. I knocked on the door, but nobody answered. Managed, managed. We managed to get to the airport in time. We managed to get to the airport in time. Packed, packed. She packed a small suitcase for the weekend. She packed a small suitcase for the weekend. Hugged, hugged. She hugged her legs tight to her chest. She hugged her legs tight to her chest. Eliminated, eliminated. Our team was eliminated in the first round. Our team was eliminated in the first round. Jumped, jumped. The little boy jumped off the wall. The little boy jumped off the wall. Licked, licked. He licked the chocolate off his fingers. He licked the chocolate off his fingers. Cried, cried. He cried because he had hurt his knee. He cried because he had hurt his knee. Stopped, stopped. He stopped the machine and left the room. He stopped the machine and left the room. Washed, washed. She washed the car down with soapy water. She washed the car down with soapy water. Pretended, pretended. We pretended nothing had happened. We pretended nothing had happened. Delivered, delivered. The parcel was delivered last week. The parcel was delivered last week. Cycled, cycled. We cycled uphill for over an hour. We cycled uphill for over an hour. Chewed, chewed. He chewed his lower lip nervously. He chewed his lower lip nervously. Brushed, brushed. She brushed the cake crumbs off the table. She brushed the cake crumbs off the table. Learned, learned. She learned to swim when she was a child. She learned to swim when she was a child. Rained, rained. It rained for 2 hours this afternoon. It rained for 2 hours this afternoon. Smiled, smiled. She smiled when she saw me. She smiled when she saw me. Compared, compared. We compared the two reports carefully. We compared the two reports carefully. baked, baked. She baked bread in the oven. She baked bread in the oven. Typed, typed. The secretary has typed up the whole contract. The secretary has typed up the whole contract. Escaped, escaped. He escaped through a secret door. He escaped through a secret door. Raced, raced. She raced into the village on her bike. She raced into the village on her bike. Cared, cared. His son cared for him when he was ill. His son cared for him when he was ill. Worried, worried. I was worried you wouldn't come. I was worried you wouldn't come. Tried, tried. I tried to phone her but couldn't get through. I tried to phone her but couldn't get through. Carried, carried. The men came and carried the table away. The men came and carried the table away. Planned, planned. We planned to build an online database. We planned to build an online database. Called, called. I've called you 3 times. Are you deaf? I've called you 3 times. Are you deaf? Saved, saved. The firemen saved the old people from the fire. The firemen saved the old people from the fire. Moved, moved. I moved aside to let him get by. I moved aside to let him get by. Parked, parked. He parked his car along the pavement. He parked his car along the pavement. Complained, complained. Lots of people have complained about the noise. Lots of people have complained about the noise. Gathered, gathered. A large crowd was gathered outside the studio. A large crowd was gathered outside the studio. Remembered, remembered. I remembered that I hadn't locked the door. I remembered that I hadn't locked the door. Questioned, questioned. He was questioned by police twice yesterday. He was questioned by police twice yesterday. Expanded, expanded. They expanded the kitchen last year. They expanded the kitchen last year. Argued, argued. She argued her case with considerable passion. She argued her case with considerable passion. Greeted, greeted. She greeted her guests at the door. She greeted her guests at the door. Announced, announced. She announced that she is quitting her job. She announced that she is quitting her job. Replied, replied. The girl replied only with a smile. The girl replied only with a smile. Purchased, purchased. They purchased the house from an elderly couple. They purchased the house from an elderly couple. Counted, counted. The teachers counted the students as they got on to the bus. The teachers counted the students as they got on to the bus. Measured, measured. We measured the dimensions of the kitchen. We measured the dimensions of the kitchen. Pushed, pushed. He pushed his chair back and stood up. He pushed his chair back and stood up. Dragged, dragged. They dragged the old sofa out of the room. They dragged the old sofa out of the room. Boiled, boiled. I've boiled some potatoes for dinner. I've boiled some potatoes for dinner. Earned, earned. In the summer, I earned money as a waitress. In the summer, I earned money as a waitress. Kicked, kicked. I kicked the ball as hard as I could. I kicked the ball as hard as I could. Created, created. He created a new system of teaching foreign languages. He created a new system of teaching foreign languages. Obeyed, obeyed. She obeyed and took hold of his hand. She obeyed and took hold of his hand. Arrived, arrived. We arrived at our destination tired and hungry. We arrived at our destination tired and hungry. Changed, changed. I changed channels when the news came on. I changed channels when the news came on. Divided, divided. They divided the money between themselves. They divided the money between themselves. Joked, joked. They joked and laughed as they looked at the photos. They joked and laughed as they looked at the photos. Chased, chased. The kids chased each other around the kitchen table. The kids chased each other around the kitchen table. Borrowed, borrowed. She borrowed some money from me. She borrowed some money from me. Confessed, confessed. He confessed that he had stolen the money. He confessed that he had stolen the money. Interrupted, interrupted. She rudely interrupted my speech. She rudely interrupted my speech. Looked, looked. She looked magnificent in her wedding dress. She looked magnificent in her wedding dress. Thanked, thanked. I thanked her for the present she sent me. I thanked her for the present she sent me. Hesitated, hesitated. He hesitated before diving into the icy water. He hesitated before diving into the icy water. Nodded, nodded. He nodded to me in a friendly way. He nodded to me in a friendly way. Clapped, clapped. Everyone clapped us when we went up to get our prize. Everyone clapped us when we went up to get our prize. Phoned, phoned. I phoned your office the other day. I phoned your office the other day. Yelled, yelled. The crowd yelled encouragement at the players. The crowd yelled encouragement at the players. Picked, picked. He picked up his fork and knife. He picked up his fork and knife. Ended, ended. We ended up stranded in Paris with no money. We ended up stranded in Paris with no money.